Good morning and welcome to Crypto Corner. I'm your host, Greg Harriman. We've been doing this for uh, well over a year now, and we've done pretty well. Our whole mantra is to be safe, secure, and sleep. We've been able to do that. We said all the way back in 23 that we were waiting on the bull run, which we thought would be 24, which in my opinion really hasn't turned out to be. Now we're getting ready for the inauguration. We're getting ready for a pro crypto president, a pro crypto SEC, some of the settling of like how crypto works and what are the regulations. We do think there'll be a shakeout of some stuff that just doesn't belong. And we think that the major players, Bitcoin, ETH, and XRP, Sol, some of those we think are going to do really well. So hopefully, if you want to go back through any of the old videos, you can. I will state a few things where I think we are now. That's the biggest question I get is like, well, what if I'm just getting in now? So we'll try to address a little bit of that. But first, let's go into a little bit of our history. We now know that we're 271 days past the halving. So, like we're in here. We should be starting to climb. We thought we were going to climb a little bit in December. And again, we did hit some all-time highs at that point in Bitcoin, but our alts haven't really moved. Now we're starting to see a few of the alts start to move, but we don't know, like just my opinion, not financial advice, Wild West, but we don't know what exactly is going to happen. So what we're doing is we've set up a whole system of what we have, when we're selling it, and you'll see in multiple cases, we sold and it went down by almost 30% and we bought back in. So now we have more coins. So that's our game plan. We're sticking to it. Again, expect pullbacks of 30% or more. Know where you are in the cycle. We said for a long time we wanted to get to this green box. We are well within the green box now, which means, again, just our thought process is that we will move forward. If it takes the inauguration and then some time for executive orders to come out or some clarification of the SEC or the Fed printing money or all of those things, they all have their own timing. So each of those will affect what we're doing, both negative and positive. So just got to be prepared for it, have conviction of what coins you want. Okay. In this, one of the things I wanted to show is like we're still down in this accumulate area, not close to sell and no longer a fire sale. Like when we had first started with Bitcoin, we were at 60 something thousand. We were buying at that point. And now we're moving, we're not buying Bitcoin anymore. We think Bitcoin is going to start trailing off and stay even while the altcoins run. So we bought more altcoins. And the same with ETH. You'll actually see where at 4,000, we dumped our ETH 80%, and we bought into some altcoins that we think are going to do well. We do have an all-time high of Bitcoin of 107, so that's now in there. We see 90 to 92 is a good support level, so that's good for us. So we think, like what should you be doing? What are your convictions? Make sure as we go up in price, your portfolio should be getting smaller number of coins. And then eventually you'll be out of some coins and then you won't go back into them unless there's a 30% drop. And then you have to decide how much you want to put back into it. Is it 30% of what you're doing? Is it all of it? You'll see in some cases we had dropped 10% of our number and we went right back in with all of that 10%. And then you'll see where we're going to be selling it next. We think gaming and AI is going to be this next narrative. And we think that even though meme coins right now are falling, we're going to be watching some of those. We're going to do a segment on meme coins because we believe they're going to go sideways and down for a little bit, but then they'll rejuvenate, and those could be some really good buying opportunities. Have stop losses in and sell orders, and you can see where our sell orders are, and I'll show you that coming up. And last thing is, it's okay to change your mind. I'll give you a great example. XRP, we put into our portfolio about maybe a couple months ago. And we just started having conviction that they were going to be the transfer of money. So that was our conviction on that. Since then, we've done 200+% on that. We were thinking at first it could go to $3 or $4 or whatever. We're now thinking as of this morning that it can go a lot higher. So we, instead of selling at some of these points, and I'll go over it when we see the chart, but we're no longer going to sell there. We think we're going to hold that for a little bit longer. So you can see XRP to 5. We think now that could be 10. We think it could be even more, depending on what news comes out where. If it becomes like a store of value like Bitcoin is to the government, then XRP is going to go through the roof. You've seen that just in the last few days, it's taken off. I think that's because there's a lot of people trying to figure that stuff out. Now, will it last? I don't know. What's your conviction? You decide whether it's there. But we've seen Sol on the move. We've seen even ETH and Bitcoin both going from, Bitcoin was down to about 89,000. It's already back up to close to 100. So we believe in super. We think it can go beyond that 250. But again, we've got to trim it out as we go. If we want to make our money and guarantee that that's in the bank, you got to sell. If you hold and you try to call the top, there's a lot of people from the last years that get all the way up there and then it fell 30% and they're like, yeah, but it'll come back. So it went back up 10%. They're like, oh yeah, see, it's going to come back up. And then it dropped another 30%. They were down like 60% in like a month and a half. So what we're doing is we're selling slowly as we go. This is our portfolio listing. This is what we show all the time. You can see our starting price on all this. You can see like over here, XRP, we're up 573% right now, and that's at 298. And the last time I looked this morning, it's at 320 something. So, and again, we just started buying this at about 52 cents. But again, our conviction was we think the government and institutions are going to use this as their money moving protocol. When that happens, like a SWIFT or one of those, when that happens, all of the money that goes on that ledger accounts for how much money that is actually worth. So we could see that, in my opinion, we could see it skyrocket, and it has from the 50 cents to the $3 and something. But I don't know. It's high. All-time high is, let's say $4. I think it's a little below that, but let's say it's $4. Are we going to break through that, or should we be selling sometime in there? And we'll get into that a little bit, but that's your conviction, right? And you can see there's still some stuff in the weeks that are not doing good. Atom didn't do that great. All of these fell, but what we did is we sold our ETH. Right, our ETH, we had started at 22. We had sold that at 4,000, and then we went ahead and bought more DOT and Atom. And the reason we did that is we think there's more upside to the DOT and Atom than there is to ETH. We think ETH could go to 5,000, maybe even 6, all the way to 8 at the most. But even at 8, you're doubling your money. If we think Atom can go to 20, you're getting 3+ times your money. So that's our conviction. I'm not saying you should do it. We're just saying when you look at like where you are and what you're doing, make sure you're selling. That's our biggest thing. It doesn't matter what you decide to buy. Make sure you have a plan. Okay, so here's ETH. You can see at 4,000, we sold 80% of it. So we still have 20%. We will sell 10% at 5,000 and another 10% at 6,000. And then we'll be out of ETH. We believe ETH and Bitcoin will then go down over time, and then they'll start their transition back up. Till then, and again, I put it out to 11,000, and so that you could see what's your multiple. You could see like how much you'd have left, if you're deciding to sell at different increments. But again, we sold 80%. We were going to sell all the way to 11,000. We decided that that's not a good idea. So you can change your mind, and that's okay. Sol. Again, we started out at 120. we changed our mind on this one as well, and we put 300 on it as our first 5%, and then 380, 450. Now I think we'll see what happens in here. We think this is going to kind of go up and then come back down. So if we see that, or we really feel like, hey, this has gone really fast, we might take off 20 or 30% and then wait for the retrace and then put the money back in. Dot and Adam, you can see where we started, 650 and 750. Dot already hit the 9 and the 10. That was 10%. What did we do? We actually bought back in at 790. And again, right now, today's price, oops, sorry about that. Today's price is only 705. We bought in at 790. We're not worried about that. We think it goes back to 10. At 10, we'll start selling again at these numbers. So we did on stake a little bit more because we feel like the run is now coming. So we only have 30, we have 70% that's, 60% that's staked, and the rest is able to, that we can buy. Adam, same thing. It hit 1050. We sold the 5%. We bought back in at 760. It's at 650 right now. If we had more money, one of the things we would be doing is buying Dot and Atom. We feel like that's got a good chance to double or triple in the next 3 months to 6 months. Okay, and here we have Jasmy and XRP. You can see we had started out at around 50 to 52 cents, and we sold at 250 and 275. We bought back in at 220, and now and we still have 12% cash left from that transition, but we're not selling now till 350. So we already have a sell order in at 350. It's at about 330. I was telling you that earlier. So if it hits 350, we will sell about 20% of our position. Now that means we would have sold from 50 to 2. We would have got 4 times our money. And then, the 250 and 275, then we would have taken that same dollar amount and bought back in at 220, and we're already up to 330. So, we're up, we haven't doubled yet, but we're up 50% on our money. That's, to me, again, that's great, all within a month. So, and we think that it will go higher. And so now we're looking at, maybe next time I'll revise this to $10 because we think that that's what it can do. If the SEC drops the case, if the after the inauguration there's some mention of it that the government is going to use it for transactional purposes, all of those things, if those all happen, then we think that this is it's just gonna rocket. So we'll be holding some back, a little back anyways, just to make sure that if it really rockets, then we get that huge side of it. And then Jasmy, again, we sold. It went up. We thought it was going to 0.061. It went to 5.9. And then we bought back in at 365, 0.365. We did move XRP from the 5% to the 20% because we don't want to sell. And we changed our conviction of where we think it is in the cycle and how we think it will go. So we hope that you're doing some of those same kind of changes, but that you have a ball that says this is where these are. And like, say if Jasmy or Super starts really going up, which we think it will, Super's another one that we really think will go up. If that goes up, then we can't hold more than that 10%. So then we start selling off, and then we can buy more into some of these. Now, we won't buy Bitcoin and ETH, at least for now. So we would be buying some of these others. But you do your own conviction. I like to show this. Take a screenshot of it. I'm not going to keep it up there long. But this just shows you where we are. I mean, Link on the green is 11.5. We were talking about Link saying you should be looking at all these. Link is doubled. Prime is doubled. File has doubled. Not doubled. It doubled when it was at 7. But so again, make sure you have your sell targets in here, because like on Link, we're saying 25. It's at 23.66. You should have a sell order in at 25 for some portion of it. Maybe you say you think it's going higher because that's your conviction. Then you say, all right, I want to sell 50% of it. But you have to start taking some of these profits along the way. And we realize that we're not calling the top. Let's say Link goes to 40 or 80. That would be awesome. But if you doubled or tripled your money on it, then in our opinion, we want that cash sitting in the bank. If there's another drop, we'll make it that way. And there's no saying that it will go up that high. Okay, we believe that we're in belief, but we're starting to move towards thrill. What should you be doing? Farming, staking, accumulating, and diversifying. Lastly, if you could smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, let other people know if you're happy. If you're making some money, let me know. That's been awesome. A lot of you have been telling me that. A lot of you are saying that you're staking. So like if you're getting, with Adam, you're staking at 17.25%. That is a great number to be staking at. But again, we're going to start on staking as we decide to sell as that number goes higher. So we hope that you're killing it in crypto. Be ready, have your sell orders in, know what your conviction is, pay attention during this time. This is the most critical time you will have in crypto, in our opinion, through Q2. Check it every day. Check to see where do I want, do I want to sell off some stuff? And then don't be disappointed when there's a 30% correction. There just was one. Everyone was crying. Don't be surprised. It's going to happen again. It probably will happen by the end of January. We'll have another correction, and then it'll go up again, and then we'll have another correction. That's why we have some of those sell orders in. Once we sell, the money's sitting there. It goes down by that 30%. Go back to your buy zones. Where should you be buying? Have those orders in. Rebuy, and then watch it go. And eventually, we won't hit the top, but we'll be what we think is close enough, and then we'll just keep moving forward. Again, sorry this is a longer video, but hopefully you enjoy it, and we'll just keep plugging away, and let's just keep killing it and working together.